Alrighty then, let's get to this. Good evening, my friends. Welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Live. How are you? Cliff, Tommy, Mr. Plowman, Patrick. Thanks for joining me. I do appreciate it. My name is Mike Avery. This is Wednesday Night Live. Something I do every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. And glad to have you along with us. Hello, Mike, Uncle Johnny. How are you? Scott. Hey, Michelle. Joe. Mike Sills, the Michigan outdoorsman. Did I stop the? Yes. Hey, Brian, congrats to your wife on that bird. Nice bird. Her first one sitting by herself. How cool is that? Mr. Mapes, Dave Mason. Brad, good evening. How are you? My name is Mike Avery. This is Wednesday Night Live. Oh, on my Facebook page, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, also known as X. Tried going live to Instagram for a while. It just wasn't worth it. The hassle that Instagram, the hoops that Instagram makes you jump through, it just wasn't worth it. I'm going to jump over here to Facebook. I want to check something out. The framing on my social media platform and what you see. Oh, that's actually better. I like it. I had to give myself a little less headroom. Another beautiful day with big winds. Yeah, real big winds. A little side story here. Speaking of the wind, my wife Denise is training for not just a half marathon, but she's going to run 15 miles, a 15-mile run in Grand Rapids in a couple of weeks. And so when I got out of the studio today, back up a second here. When she runs that far, she likes to have somebody along with her. I obviously can't run that far. I don't like to run at all, but I do like to ride my bike. So when I got home from the studio today, she was going to make a 10-mile run and I was going to ride along with her, but the wind was just ripping too much. So we're actually going to do it tonight when I get done. And looking out the window here, the wind is starting to die down. So we'll do it. We should be able to get back just before it gets dark. Jerry, good evening. How are you? A full mount. Excellent. That'll be very cool. Those full mounts of birds are very cool. Everyone is in Freeland at a Trump rally. Enormous crowd. I didn't know Trump was in Freeland tonight. I probably had, depending on the wind direction, probably had Air Force One fly over the house. Is he in yet? He did a rally in Freeland at the airport. Must have been 4 years ago now. Mike found a bunch of morels yesterday while fishing for smallmouth. Pretty good day. Ross Skinny Elliott. How you doing, buddy? Always a pleasure. Tim, good evening. Nice to have you along with us on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. Welcome to, hence, okay, you saw me take my watch off and put it on the charger. If we're going to go do 10 miles, I got to have a charge in my watch, and it was getting down pretty low. Anyway, welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Live with me, Mike Avery. Mike Sherman, good evening. How are you? Welcome to the month of May. Jerry, right back at you. How are you doing this evening? Good evening to you. What does the month of May mean? A couple of things it could mean. Randy Iamurray, wind. Dang it. Absolutely. Ed Rutherford, how are things in Northern Lake Huron this evening, buddy? Steve Zull, good evening. Jim Ward, always a pleasure. Nice to have you along. I'm so glad that I got to meet you and put a face to the name, Jim. And in fact, it was at a Wednesday Night Live at the Lumberjack Restaurant. Ed Bolanowski, good evening. Brent checking in. So you're back home. Hey, Brent, when does that big cup, in Saginaw, it's sometime in May. Not Turner Cup, obviously, but it's a big event. When is that, Brent? Ross says bear and elk tags. That's what I was going to talk about. In Michigan, May means it's time to apply for bear and elk tags. Now, I'll say something to you that I said this morning, and it might make you mad. You might get a bear tag, but you're not getting an elk tag. You're not going to get one. The odds against getting a Michigan elk tag are astronomical. What is it? 60,000 people apply and they let out 100 tags or something crazy like that. Now, don't get me wrong. You have to apply or you'll never get a tag. I'm just saying that even if you apply year after year after year, the odds are extremely good that you will never get a Michigan tag, elk tag in your life. Good point, Dave. Dave says also it means mosquitoes. Now, I am a big fan of Thermacell for mosquitoes. Also, I'm working with this new company called Michigan Moon. They make bug squatch. It's a spray. Uncle Johnny, did you use it today? How did it work for you? Scott, good evening from St. Charles. How are you? Tony says, no walleyes in the Tittabawassee today. Time to move to skinny water. I'm with you there, brother. Warm in Shingleton tonight. 51. Hammering birds here in Leelanau County, and the turkeys are busy. Nice. Good evening, Jeff Smith. How are you? Tim Tyler, rotator cuff surgery. Been a week since I had it. Hopefully, I can get out and do some walleye fishing. I hope you can as well, Tim. Wishing you a quick recovery. Hummering birds. Hummering. I don't have my Angler Quest yet. Now, I could do the same thing I did this morning with it. Freaked some of you guys out. I went, oh man, my Angler Quest. And I kind of fell out of the frame. Johnny Bowler thought I was having a heart attack. I'm not going to have a heart attack. I have no genetics in my family for a heart attack. I'm in good shape. I'm not going to have a heart attack. Jeff, here we go. As I said this morning, I received elk. That's right. You did get a Ed Rutherford got a tag. Well, Ed, you're one of the very few. Justin, good evening. How are you? Justin, look real close. These little things right here are because of you, Justin. Good evening, Jeff. Nice to have you along with us on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. Yeah, you have to apply. If you don't apply, you'll never get a tag. I'm telling you, even if you apply, you're never going to get a tag, but you have to apply or you'll never get a tag. Now, there's a chance you could get a bear tag. I will be getting a bear tag this fall. Mike, good evening. How are you? Thanks for joining me on this edition of Wednesday Night Live on a beautiful but a very windy still Wednesday Night Live. I told you we're going to go out and face the wind here as soon as I get done. Yes, if a kayak has a motor on it, do you need registration tag? Yes. Once you put a motor on it, it's considered watercraft and you have to have the MC license. Thanks, Justin. Evening, James. How are you? All right, some things I want to talk about tonight, including the rundown for this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show. It is May. We talked about applying for your Michigan Bear and Elk tag. I hear from so many people that I'm waiting for Drummond Island. I actually heard that this morning. I'm waiting for Drummond Island. Why? It's going to take you more than 2 decades to even think about getting a tag for Drummond Island. If you like to bear hunt or think you would like to bear hunt, why would you want to limit yourself to a tag every 20 years? Go for some of the other seasons. For example, I go for the Newberry Bear Management Unit for the 3rd season. And you can get a tag every 2 or 3 years. Now, is it as good as the first season? No, the odds of success are down unless you're hunting with Johnny Bowler, the Bear Whisperer. Tommy can't wait for May 4th, which is Saturday, which is also, what is May 4th? What is May the 4th? All you tech geeks, what is the significance of May 4th? Tommy says he's been waiting all year for this turkey opener. Good luck to you, buddy. I can't wait to see the picture. Send me an email to mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com and I will post it. Eric, good evening. How are you? Chris checking in from flooded Kansas. My pond that was down 6 feet is now over full. Steve, good evening. Daughter and I doubled this morning on Tom. Steve, congrats. What a great story. Can't wait to hear it. Please, also, you email me the pictures. I want to see them. Hey, Barry. Well, it's Star Wars. Yeah, may the 4th be with you. May the 4th be with you. You know, I loved the first couple of Star Wars movies, and after that, I couldn't get into them anymore. Ed says he did Newbury 3rd season with 2 points, so hopefully this is the year. Don't you even think about hunting with Johnny Bowler, Ed Bolanowski. Don't even think about it. I own Johnny Bowler this fall. Johnny Bowler is mine this fall. James, have bears and wolves on a trail camera near Brimley. Talking to some neighbors, they have seen wolves on their cameras too. Darn, eh? So even though it's May, we've been freezing our butts off at softball games. So my granddaughter Addison plays softball. It's been kind of uncomfortable at the trap shoots as well, although those are held earlier in the afternoon when the weather's usually nicer. But I think the weather roller coaster, the temperature roller coaster, might be evening out yet. I have not had a chance to play any golf. I'm jonesing, Uncle Johnny, really jonesing to play some golf. Have not been fishing yet. You know why I haven't been fishing yet? I don't have an Angler Quest. You know why I don't have an Angler Quest? I found out the other day that my Angler Quest is at the Apex Marine plant, and it's there to get new tubes put on it. Now, you might remember it was there last spring to get new tubes put on it too. And I waited and waited and waited and waited and finally just went over there and said, I can't wait any longer. I am praying, earnestly and fervently praying that that doesn't happen this year. I want to get the boat. I want to get up in the skinny water. I want to go catch some fish. Hello, Stacy. Just got done watching my. I'm cheaters. Watching you. That's what's throwing me off. Oh, I know what I can do here, my friends. I think I can change the resolution on this and make this screen a little bit bigger. That'll help me out tremendously. There we go. That's what I needed to do. Although now I can't see you at all, but okay. I can see my comments at least. 5 points for Berglund. Excellent. Good luck to you. Hello, Scott. Bruce, good evening. How are you? Just got done watching your show. Richard is a wonderful guest. Here's what's throwing me off, John. What show were you watching that you saw Richard on? Was it one of the old ones online? Dennis has a fantastic night up north. Ralph, good evening. How are you? Johnny's putting you in a blind in Andy's parking lot. There are worse places to hunt. $110 is a holiday for conibear trappers. Help me out, Don. I'm not 110. Oh, because the trap size is 110. Barry, did you enjoy the sturgeon story? I did tremendously. Barry sent me a picture of a relative of his, and I don't remember the connection, but it was from back in the 40s or earlier, late 1800s, early 1910s, of a beautiful Saginaw Bay sturgeon. Thank you for reminding me. I'll still post that. Thank you, Stacy. Appreciate that. Jeff, good evening. How are you? Bruce. Yeah. Scott. Well, yeah. Talk to me, brother. Jeff, so is your skinny water still off limits when you're out of commission? Absolutely. Tony Wentz right here. He'll back me on this. How do bear points work? Say I put in for Newbury, but don't have an exact year I plan to go. Is there a cap on points? No, you can keep accumulating points. And if you get a year that you don't think that you're going to hunt or can hunt, like last year, I knew I couldn't hunt last year because my daughter Shelby was getting married Labor Day weekend. So I knew I wasn't bear hunting. So I just put in for the points. Evening, Dan. How are you? John checking in from St. Louis. Recording. See, that's what threw me. Yes. You said you watched it. That's what threw me. Watch it on YouTube, maybe? Great grandfather. Thank you. Please do, James. I'll send you a cool video of a bear checking out the turkey deacon. Stepson got his 2 deer mounts back. Fantastic job, boy. That's the thing about mounts, right? They can either be really good or really bad. Okay. You know how much I love that Wraith 270 see-through ground blind from Primal Outdoors. Right, your points go to 0 once you get drawn. Yeah, Ed, yeah. When will Amy be back on the show? How about this week? Kevin's got 2 weeks to get a gobbler before he goes in for shoulder surgery. Kevin, that will be more than enough time for you. You're only going to need 2 days, maybe 3. Mushrooms are coming to a close, Jake says. Depends on where you live in the state, Jake. You can always keep going north to keep chasing them. Good luck on that surgery, Kevin. I haven't had shoulder done, but I've had knees, wrists, and elbows, and you always feel better afterwards. Well, at least for the knees, I did. So a package showed up on my door the other day. I knew it was coming. It was from Primal. It's a new blind called the Harvester blind. It's not out yet. I don't even think it's in production. I don't know if the blind that I have is actually a prototype or if it's a production model. Asparagus is jumping out now, though. I like it. I like it a lot. I suspect it is going to become my new go-to blind. It's a touch bigger than the Wraith. I have a hard time calling it a true see-through blind because the material in the windows is different than the Wraith. And so I don't consider it a true see-through blind. However, you can see movement. So it's a pseudo see-through blind. But the innovations in this blind, or maybe just going back old school, are so cool. There's not a zipper on this blind, right? If you've hunted from a blind, you know that that stupid zipper getting into and out of the door is the loudest sound in the woods. This Harvester doesn't use a zipper. It uses a little hook that goes over the hub on the outside, and then magnets hold it together. Same thing with the windows. Magnets hold them up and hold them down. The window configuration is very cool because at the front of the blind, there are 2 vertical windows that go from top to bottom. I'm very excited about that, especially for bear hunting, because I found myself in the situation many times where the blind was tilted back a little bit just because that's the lay of the land, and the bear bait was below me. So I had a hard time shooting downhill to the bait. So this is going to be great. Looking forward to it. Again, it's the Harvester. I don't know. It's not available yet. It's not on the website. It's not listed anywhere. As soon as I get the go ahead, I'm going to post some video of it. I don't know how much it's going to cost. And again, I don't know if mine is a prototype or a production model, but it's pretty sweet. Really looking forward to it. Chris said he's had to cut his asparagus 5 times now. Linda says magnets, brilliant. The thing of it is, Linda, I actually had a blind years ago. I think it was an old Ameristep blind that had some magnets, but I like them. I think it's very slick. This is a very, very good blind. Very nice blind. Evening, Matt. How are you? Jeff corrected me. He said the loudest thing in the woods is a squirrel clowning around. True. Lee, good evening. How are you? Welcome to this edition of Wednesday Night Live. So it's a very exciting blind, and like I say, I think it's going to become my go-to blind. I'm sure it's going to be more expensive than the deal on the Wraiths that you were getting from Jay's for $150, but we'll see. James, did you ever get a new scope for your 350 Legend? No, not yet. It is, let's just say it's on my list of things to do, but it's way down on my list of things to do for now. I mean, if it gets to be August, I'm going to move it up, obviously. Mitchell, good evening. It's a Harvester blind by Primal Outdoors, primaloutdoors.com. Okay, let's talk about a little thing called the Mike Avery Outdoors Charity Golf Outing. It is not too early to sign up. In fact, at this point, it's only a couple months away. A little longer than that, but look at this. It's Nick Grillo, ladies and gentlemen, of Michigan Brand Meats, michiganbrand.net, michiganbrand.net. Go to the website, michiganbrand.net. Put in your zip code and a store locator. A store locator, click on the store locator button, put in your zip code, and it'll tell you all the places around you to buy Michigan Brand Meats products. If you decide you want to order online, which you can at the website, michiganbrand.net, at checkout, use the promo code Avery20. That's Avery20, and you'll get 20% off the entire order. Nick Grillo is a great guy. He's become a very good friend of mine, but he is a hardcore hunting and fishing fool. The guy is addicted to the outdoors, and it's a good addiction, believe me. But man, he loves to hunt and he loves to fish, and the guy's pretty darn good at it too. So anyway, Nick, doing well tonight. Thanks for joining us. Brian found some nice morels over the weekend. Okay, the golf outing, which came about here from Wednesday Night Live about 6 weeks ago. It's locked in. It is Monday, July 29th at the West Branch Country Club. Proceeds are going to MUCC's youth camp. If you want to sign up to play and or sponsor, and there are several levels of sponsorship, it's not ridiculous. Love to have you involved if you choose to do so. You sign up online at this website, mucc.org/golf. mucc.org/golf. And you can sign up to join us. Interesting question from Scott. Would the website accept Snap? Scott, tell me, what is Snap? Is it like a PayPal or a Venmo? Cameron, good evening. How are you, buddy? Nice to have you along with us. What is Snap? I'm familiar with PayPal. I am familiar with Venmo, but I do not know what Snap is. Oh, Walleye for Warriors. Still needs your help. They're looking for boat captains so they can take as many veterans out as possible. The event is June 8th and 9th at the Linwood Beach Marina on Saginaw Bay. They need more boat captains. You do not have to be a licensed charter captain to be a boat captain in Walleye for Warriors. If you can help out, go to the website, Walleyes for Warriors. You hear the geese? I don't mind them there. I don't mind them flying over. I don't even mind them on the pond. Just don't like them in the yard. Walleyesforwarriors.org, walleyesforwarriors.org, and sign up to become a boat captain. Okay, Patrick, only applying for an elk chance and a bear preference point due to a Saskatchewan deer hunt. That's a pretty good situation to be in, Patrick. Good luck to you, buddy. Spring has sprung, no doubt about it. Okay, Scott, I got you. I don't know the answer to that. Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP. Okay. By the way, two events at Linwood Beach, well, several, but two big events that I'm involved in. The Angler Quest Owners Tournament is Saturday, July 27th. And of course, Walleye for Warriors is Saturday and Sunday, June 8th and 9th. If you want to get in touch with the folks at Linwood Beach Marina, their website, linwoodbeachmarina.com, linwoodbeachmarina.com. A great place, no doubt about it. All right. Who's on the Outdoor Magazine radio? I got to change my resolution here for a second to get back to something just to just to check a little something, something. Yeah, that's what I was checking. The number of people watching live goes down in the summer because there's so much else going on. I mean, you could be at a ball game, you could be at a hockey game. I mean, there's a lot going on, so I get that. But I appreciate you being along. And if you can't watch live, of course, you can always watch Wednesday Night Live or Behind the Mic. You can watch it as a recorded event. Here's who's coming up. Can I find out how we sign up for the AQ Owners Tournament? Yes, in fact, I can. Now, church, Steve, thank you, doing the wow service. So Craig, going back to your question, can I find out? I can, but will I? Finished up. Okay, Dan, I got to read this comment. Let me change my resolution back. Finished up our DMI meeting today in the UP. Hopefully, huge changes coming soon. So, Dan, not knowing what the specifics are as far as discussing what happens at these meetings, what can you tell us? Is there anything of substance? Now, you say huge changes coming. What's being discussed? Are you optimistic that things will change? And what types of things are you talking about? Hello, Michael. How are you? Bernie says it's a beautiful evening in central Michigan. Indeed, it is. Scott says, speaking of hockey, how's the Spirit doing? You'll bring me some cigars? I will tell you exactly the Angler Quest Owners Tournament as soon as I find out. No, Scott, I haven't, because I haven't even checked on it yet. I haven't. I know I should, but I haven't. Just a lot of things going on right now, and I have not checked on it. I will. It's, to be honest with you, it should be a higher priority than what it is. At least it's 88 in Tennessee today. Coming up on this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show, my first guest this week talking about a topic that I have absolutely fallen in love with, and it's the concept of high school trap shooting teams. My grandson Carter shoots on the local trap shooting team, and I'm so in love with this. I'm not a trap shooter. I've done it. It's not the type of thing that I would choose to do on a regular basis. It wouldn't be a passion of mine. But to have high schools with teams, to me, is absolutely wonderful. You've got these, I mean, thousands of kids every week are at the trap line shooting tens of thousands of rounds. There's never an accident. There's never a negligent discharge. There's never anything bad happens. So John Nelson is one of the guys. He's from Minnesota, but he's one of the guys who put this together. And okay. Anyway, he talks about it. It's cool in Petoskey, Elmer says. Dennis says a fire up here in the woods was just informed Deep River Township in Aranac. Mark says the black flies are out tonight. Dan says what does it mean? These are our group recommendations. What does that mean, Dan? I don't see something here. Look who's along with us, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Durson of Rapid River Knives. You know I love my Rapid River knife. It's mine. It's got my name on it. Carry this thing with me all the time. I am, though, as much as I like this one, and this is is this the Youper, Chris? I'm going to get myself a mini Youper, a smaller version of this. In fact, I got to call up there tomorrow and order it. And you know what I will do when I call up there? I will use my own promo code. All right, Chris, have a good night. Chris Beebe, going back to Chris Durson. When I call Rapid River Knife Works tomorrow, I will use my own promo code of Avery10 and I'll get 10% off on the Rapid River knife that I'm going to order. But that's not just for me. You can do the same thing. You can stop by the showroom and Rapid River, check out their selection. You will not find another knife like this, but you will find others that are almost as beautiful. If you want to use the promo code Avery10 in the showroom, you can get a discount on your knife. Or if you can't make it up there, order online. RapidRiverKnifeWorks.us. RapidRiverKnifeWorks.us. Jim said, I would have loved to have trap shooting in high school. I know, it's so cool. Dennis with a fire update. Aranac County, Deep River Township, Stewart Road. Thank you. Okay. Dan says, and he's on the UPDMI, the UP Deer Management Initiative Group. We discussed everything in depth across the board. Habitat, public, hunter, distrust with the DNR, predators, that is wolves and bears, non-regulation and regulation recommendations. I can't wait to come out of there. Actually, Craig, you can. You can. You can order a knife similar to this with mammoth tusk, woolly mammoth tusk handle. That's what this is. You can get one with woolly mammoth tusk. Now, it's going to cost you a few bucks because they ain't making any more woolly mammoth tusk. But yeah, you can get one. Talk about an heirloom. And this is a tool that I use every day. So I'm not afraid to use it, but this will get passed down to generations. That's the Uper with the pocket clip. We're making a 50% version of it right now. 50%. I don't know. 50% is pretty small, Chris. 50% is, that's really small. I got to think about that. I'm either going to order the smaller version of this or ivory. It's called ivory, Craig, and you can get it. Or maybe I'll just order another type of a version of this. I probably won't get one as fancy and expensive as this one, but I will still get a nice one. RapidRiverKnifeWorks.us, RapidRiverKnifeWorks. Yeah. Okay, Craig. Hey, Chris Durson. Tomorrow, look for this guy's name coming in. Craig Plowman. He's a good friend of mine. Good guy. He's going to order one of your high-end, expensive knives with the ivory from the woolly mammoth tusk. You're welcome, Chris. And you're welcome, Craig. I like working with companies like Rapid River. Chris Durson, Michigan-based, family-owned, great products. You know I love their products. I talk about them all the time. I carry them all the time. I use them all the time. Now, here's a little something I've never shown you before. Chris Durson, Jim's got one with the same knife with a maple burl handle. It's beautiful, too. I've seen that one. Chris Durson will tell you the best way to keep a knife sharp is to keep a knife sharp, meaning don't let it get dull. He talks about stropping it on your jeans or whatever. I have found this sharpener to do a pretty good job. And this is actually an old G5 sharpener used to sharpen broadheads. And I actually, how do I demonstrate this without cutting myself? Okay. This, I think, does the same thing, Chris, that you're talking about. It deburrs the edge. It takes the burrs off. So I like this. Chris Durson, while I have you, you have an open invitation to join us on Wednesday Night Live. I'd love to get you on here. In fact, Chris, I'd love to get you on like next week. And you can show me what that mini Uper looks like. You're welcome, Joe. The Ken Onion workshop. Great system. I used to use the old Lansky. Chris says, good. That'll be great. Yeah, Chris Durson of Rapid River, RapidRiverKnifeWorks.us. Let's tentatively plan on having Chris on next week, barring any tech problems. But I'd love to get you on here, Chris, and just show off some of your knives. Show us the different kind of knives you make. And then, Chris, you can answer questions from our viewers, from our listeners here tonight on how to maintain a knife, how to keep it sharp. I think it would be a very good Wednesday Night Live, Chris. And I'm going to make a note here now to try to make that happen. Scott Hand, Walleye for Warrior says, if any of your listeners want to donate items for the Veterans Goodie Bag for Walleye for Warriors, please reach out to us with items to stuff the bags. You would reach out to Scott Hand at walleyesforwarriors.org, walleyesforwarriors.org. All right, Brian, sounds like you got to go. Have a good evening, buddy. I need to get back to who's on the show this week. You too, Brian. I told you John Nelson talking about high school trap shooting. Then my buddy Paul Phillips, one of the best extreme long range shooters in the world, reminds us that he has a shooting clinic coming up in just a couple of weeks over near Big Rapids. You can come into that clinic. It's a one-day clinic. You can bring your own rifle, your own scope, your own spotting scope, your own binos, whatever. And he will teach you to be a better shooter with your own gun. Mike Evans, Chris Durson, you're going to be happy to hear this. Mike Evans says, we stopped in the showroom a couple of years ago. Definitely worth checking out. Also, purchase a knife. It's hard to go to the Rapid River showroom and not get a knife. In our second hour, we're talking about Northern Michigan fishing with Jim Chamberlain of I Fish with Jim Charters, including he had a fantastic trout season opener. We talk about that and more. Then somebody was saying, hey, when is Amy Trotter going to be on again? Amy Trotter is in hour 2 of this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show. I asked her to stick around for the second segment, which is the Ask Avery segment. And I asked her, based on your questions to me over the past several months, Amy Trotter, Executive Director of MUCC, what do you see as the biggest problems / challenges / concerns facing Michigan sportsmen and women today? I'm not going to tell you what she said. I'm going to make you listen to the radio show to find out. And in hour 3, we're talking early season big water salmon fishing with Dave Engel of Best Chance Charters. And then wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner has another good recipe, another great recipe. It's a turkey recipe. But I don't have video this week. Remember last week I actually had video? I'm going to see if I can find it. If I have video somewhere, I will post it. I've got so much old video that I need to continue to work on bringing to the light of day, i.e. the light of the internet. It's just it's the type of thing where I should have done it last winter, because now when I get back on the water, I'm going to be a fishing fiend, a fishing fool, and I won't have time for such things, but that's neither here nor there. All right, I'm going to give this thing 2 more minutes, and I think I'm going to wrap it up, because I told you my wife Denise is training for a 15-mile run. I was calling it a half marathon. It's actually longer than a half marathon. A half marathon would be 13.1 miles. She's running 15 miles. And she wants to go out for a run this evening while it's still light out. I'm going to ride my bike along with her. I don't like to run, but I like to ride a bike. So I'm going to ride my bike along with her. So I think we want to get a little bit of a head start on this so we can get back in before it gets too dark. Hey, Ace, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, that is very impressive that at her age, and I won't give her age, but she's our age. She started running a year and a half ago. She did her first 5K. Well, she started running about 15 months ago. She did her first 5K a year ago, and now she's done an 8K. I don't know. She's a running machine. So we're going to go out and do 10 miles tonight. She's going to run. I'm going to ride 10 miles tonight. So yeah, I think it's awesome. I appreciate you saying that, Ed. And thank you, Ace, for checking in, buddy. It's always nice to hear from you, even though you were hiding there in the shadows and I didn't know you were there. One final thing about Rapid River. If you get a Rapid River knife, please be sure to have it engraved. Like that one right there. Get your name put on it. Or whatever. Whatever you want to get engraved on there. She absolutely is, Uncle Johnny. Lee says, if you see me running, try to keep up because something's chasing me. I hear you there, Lee. I tried running. I tried to walk. I ride my bike again. Just not a runner. Ace, you might remember back in at Ferris, we spent that one summer there. You were a runner. And I actually went out with you and ran one night. And I don't know how many miles it was, but that's the longest I've ever ran. Enjoy it. Absolutely, Mark. You know why she's doing it. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. I'll look forward to it, Dave. You know what that music means. It means it is time to wrap up. Oh, that volume slider is very touchy. Means it's time to wrap up this edition of Wednesday Night Live. My name is Mike Avery. This is Wednesday Night Live. It's something we do every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. I also do a Behind the Mic segment live from the studio every Wednesday morning at 8:45. My email address, mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com. My website, mikeaveryoutdoors.com. The golf outing coming up. Promo codes for Michigan Brand Meats. Promo code for Rapid River Knives. Have a good night, my friends. I'll talk to you next time right here on Wednesday Night Live.